Many Scarlet Report viewers have asked me, bro, when are you going to upload your analysis of the Brighton debacle? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is my black notebook. So this is the notebook that I use when I watch football games to jot down lines, take notes of anything remotely interesting that happens in a football game so that I can use it as reference when I make my tactical analysis videos. But I had to discard it within 9 minutes of watching Manchester United and Brighton, because it was clear to me that this was not a tactical battle between Graham Potter and Erik Ten Hag, but rather it was akin to a Bronze Age battlefield, where on one hand side you had Roman legions with their turtle formations and their catapults and fiery arrows, and on the other hand you had farmers with pitchforks. That's exactly what it looked like to me. And the reason why Manchester United lost that game, the reason why we actually lost the game in the first half, actually has nothing to do with tactics. It has to do with the mentality of the players. The reason we lost that game is because of a term that psychologists refer to as regression. Basically what it means is that in times of stress and anxiety, individuals are more likely to go back to old habits because that's where the brain feels safer. Basically, in other words, you can have the best plans in the world. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Now, I box. I've been doing it for about 6-7 months just to stay fit, just to stay in shape once, twice a week. And I can tell you, and any boxer can tell you, that it doesn't matter how long you work on your combos, how long you work on your footwork, how much you analyze your opponent. Once you get on the ring, all it takes is a jab to the nose for you to completely forget what you're supposed to do. You become, your footwork becomes erratic. You start going out of breath because adrenaline shoots up. You enter that like fight or flight mode, and you just go back to your old habits. It doesn't matter how long your coach worked with you to kind of help you improve your technique. You just throw all of that in the bin and you just become erratic. And that's exactly what happened to Manchester United against Brighton. In fact, if you took some footage from that game and you showed it to me without context, I would think that that was from last season and the Ralf Rangnick. That's how the team was playing. Now, all of the tactical analysis videos I made of preseason, a lot of people say, well, it's just preseason, bro, it doesn't matter. Well, what I'm trying to say is that those videos were based on patterns of play. They were not videos of telling you, okay, look how great Sancho and Martial are, or look how great Eric Bailly is. It was about the ideas that the players were trying to implement on the pitch. Well, none of those ideas were actually implemented against Brighton. So it's not that Manchester United tried to implement ideas and then Brighton were just too good. No, it's that Manchester United in the first half didn't even show up. All of the patterns of building from the back, keeping possession, playing narrow and compact, pressing high up the pitch, none of that matters. Within 9 minutes, we just went back to how we played against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Marcus Rashford and Ralf Rangnick by just going deep and hoping to hurt Brighton in the counter-attack, even though that was not the plan. Just like a boxer who goes into his corner and just hoping to get a knockout blow that comes out of nowhere when clearly he's getting battered by his opponent. And so Manchester United's main problem is that not only do we need quality, but also that we need depth in the squad, but also that we are mentally weak. These players are not determined enough. They are not driven. They are mentally shattered. It's telling, in fact, that our two best players, best, isn't that a big word, but our two better players against Brighton were new recruits, Lisandro Martinez and Eriksen, especially Eriksen in the second half. He looked like Scholes to me. He really gave me a Scholesy vibe when he dropped into that number 6 position. And it's because Lisandro Martinez and Eriksen do not have those old habits that the rest of the squad has. So this is more evidence that the squad definitely suffers from regression. That every time we face tough opposition or every time we feel under pressure, because for them playing at Old Trafford, Erik Ten Hag's first game of the season, first game of his Manchester United reign, and then all the eyes of the world are on you. Everybody is watching you. As you can see from the response, everybody cares about Manchester United. So definitely that's a source of stress. That's a source of anxiety. And so these players, they definitely need to become tougher mentally. Come on, have some pride, guys. Be confident, be courageous on the ball. Against Brighton, it's like they were playing hot potato with the ball. Nobody wanted to get on the ball. Now, Having said that, I think this could be a blessing in disguise for Erik Ten Hag. Why? For two main reasons. The first thing is that this defeat opens a lot of eyes, and at the very least, it will mean that the club will act more urgently in the transfer market. We still have 3 weeks. Hey, don't even get me started on Rabiot and Arnautovic. I'm making a video on that. I'm not going to get into that here, okay? But it gives us three weeks to try to fix it and try to bring in more bodies through the door. The second thing is that this informs Erik Ten Hag on who are the players that he can rely on. Who are the players who are tough mentally, who can hack it at the top level, and who he can build a squad around, and who are the players who probably need a step down. A player like Scott McTominay, for example, as we've seen with Andres Pereira at Fulham, could probably benefit from playing for a team like Wolves, for example. Andres Pereira at Manchester United looked lost, but for Fulham against Liverpool, he looked confident because at Fulham, there is no pressure. If they lost 3 or 4-0 against Liverpool, so what? Everybody expects it. But they fought for a draw. He looked confident on the ball because he doesn't have that pressure. He doesn't have to go back to the old habits of his days at Manchester United. So anyway, guys, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about the Brighton defeat. For my part, I mean, I have to support the club. This is the club that I love, so I'm going to support it no matter what. But also, I'm looking forward to a reaction against Brentford. I think now the onus is on the squad, on the players, to show us that they can hack it and that they can revive this season. Also, please let me remind you that last season, Arsenal lost their first 3 games of the season, and yet it didn't stop them from finishing comfortably above us. They, in fact, had a shot at making it to top 4, but they just bottled it in the last 2 or 3 game weeks of the season. So, also under Sir Alex Ferguson, there are plenty of seasons where we didn't start as well as we should. We drew certain games that we should have won. We lost certain games. And then after Boxing Days, we went on a rampage and we won the title. I'm not saying we are winning the title, but what I'm saying is that the first game doesn't really matter. You know, I mean, as bad as that defeat was, maybe I'd rather have those mistakes appear and emerge early in the season and then have Erik Ten Hag works on fixing them as the season goes, rather than actually have a false sense of security with a win against Brighton and Brentford and then collapse against Liverpool and then have all the negativity come up once the transfer window has already closed and we have nothing to do to fix the problems. So anyway, guys, please let me know, post a comment, let me know what you think about the Brighton defeat and how we can go forward and improve. And also, if you like the video, please hit the like button. That's like the best way you can support this video, as it helps a lot with the algorithm. Cheers.